A lot of people, including myself, are a little bit confused as to why Elon Musk has decided to support Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump wants to kill EV subsidies. What's the deal here? What's the reasoning behind this? Well, is it possible Musk thinks the election is already over? That there is almost a guaranteed certainty that Trump will win, so he might as well try and get in early and potentially make it look like he's been a supporter of Trump all along. Now, I'm not sure, guys, but either way, this does not look good for America, for the EVs, and for the future of America's automotive industry. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Phenomenal to see you guys. Guys, I want to say I'll be at the EV show in Melbourne on the 11th of August. I'll put a link in the description below. It's going to be a great show. It's very, very cheap, and you can get it even cheaper, get a discount on your tickets if you click on my link below. I'd love to see you there. And even after the show as well, I'm going to grab a bite to eat. If you guys would like to join us, you're welcome to do so. Former US President Donald Trump says if he wins the election in November, he will end electric vehicle incentives in America. He'll end EV incentives. Now, that directly or indirectly, pretty much every automotive industry in the world is supporting EVs to the tune of billions of dollars. Of course, China's government is supporting it to the tune of hundreds of billions. So that's your competition. Now, make no mistake, that is your competition. Sure, China is not directly selling EVs into America yet, but American automakers can't really survive if all they're doing is selling cars to Americans only, and that's it, right? They have to sell cars to people in Brazil, Mexico, South and Central America, to Europe, to other places, including China itself as well. And if they are contracting continually every year, and they are now seriously contracting big time, what happens when they continue to contract for 10, 15 years? Well, they eventually cease to exist. I will end the electric vehicle mandate on day one, said Trump, thereby saving the US auto industry from complete obliteration, which is happening right now, and saving US customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car. Now, he said this at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee in Wisconsin, where he's accepting the nomination from his party for president. So how is it that Trump believes that this will save the US automotive industry by simply continuing to make what? It's like basically when the car came along, it's like saying, no, we're going to save our horse industry by just having more horses. Let's keep more space for horses and let's stop. No, don't produce new cars because we need to save horses. They're more important than cars. More people use horses today. Well, that was true. If you have a look at some photos and video back in New York and other big cities in America, at about that peak, right? About the early 19th century, you can see this incredible difference in the space of 10 years in the streets. They went from just horses everywhere to cars everywhere. Now, Trump believes the future of the world is not electric, that EVs are not going to take over. Well, there's already some cities in Europe some countries in Europe where EVs are at more than 90%. There is China. I just did a video on Shenzhen. In Shenzhen, 77% of all cars sold last month were electric. This revolution is happening whether Donald Trump likes it or not. And if Trump decides to remove America from the revolution, America's just going to get left behind. The other point here that I think Trump is ignoring is that since the Biden administration's incentives have come into play, and since their kind of changes to policy, by the way, guys, I'm not telling you who to vote for here, but since they've done that, investment in the American automotive industry has skyrocketed. It's skyrocketed from everyone, from the Volkswagen Group, from BMW, from Mercedes-Benz, from Volvo, from, of course, Tesla themselves as well. Numerous automakers have committed to investing billions and billions and billions. In total, we're looking at more than $200 billion committed to investing into the EV revolution in America. So Trump thinks that's bad for the automotive industry, and that doesn't make sense. I can't understand where he's coming from here and why he's saying this. Is he saying this because he thinks that Americans want to hear this, that they're going to vote for him if he says it? Is that the only reasoning? I don't know. The other thing that's crazy is that this is despite the former president recently receiving the endorsement of Tesla CEO Elon Musk, whose company exclusively produces EVs, obviously. Now, EVs are eligible for tax credits of US $7,500 in America. Under Joe Biden's administration, though, there are very strict rules on that about battery sourcing. The batteries have to come from America. They have to be made in America. A lot of the components in the car have to be made in America, a certain percentage, and that percentage will increase every year. President Biden announced a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs in May. Now, I don't know why, to be honest. Tariffs were already 27.5%, and I don't believe any Chinese manufacturers were all that serious about entering America, except for one, which is BYD. Now, BYD are currently building a factory in Mexico. They believe they can circumvent these rules by, like I said, building that factory in Mexico and then sending cars across the border, which would technically mean they can legally be sold in America, well, but without any tax punishments whatsoever. Former President Trump was also criticized the UAW, or United Auto Workers Union, for letting car makers build factories in Mexico. That includes General Motors and Ford, who obviously do this as well, and BMW and Audi and others. Large factories are being built across the border in Mexico. So with all the other things happening at our border, they're being built by China to make cars and sell into our country with no tax or anything. It hasn't happened yet. I think Trump's jumping the gun a little bit. That is the plan, yes. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed for allowing this to happen, and the leader of the UAW, Sean Fain, should be fired immediately. Now, at least Trump and I can agree on one point. Fire the leader of the UAW, Sean Fain, immediately. I totally agree. He's an utter muppet. Now, if you love him, I'm honestly not sorry to hurt your feelings, because he is. We're going to bring back car manufacturing, and we are going to bring it back fast, says Trump. The Chinese are building some of the largest auto plants in the world. Those plants are going to be built in the US, and our people are going to man those plants. This is all very confusing to me. I'm going to restate this paragraph. Please, someone explain this paragraph to me. The Chinese are building some of the largest auto plants in the world. Those plants are going to be built in America, and our people are going to man those plants. Well, which plants is he talking about? I don't know of any Chinese car plants. If he's referring to battery plants, now actually that is true. Trump would be right if he's referring to battery plants, but not car plants. If they don't agree with us, we will put a tariff of approximately 100 to 2. Oh, Trump's funny. Guys, approximately 100 to 2. Approximately 100 to 200% on each car, and they will be unsellable in the United States. So there's already a tariff of 102.5%. And Trump it's a very, very large approximate number, 100 to 200%. I've never heard anyone say approximately in that context before. Trump went on. We have long been taken advantage of by other countries. They've been taking advantage of us for years. We lose jobs, we lose revenue, and they gain everything and wipe out our businesses and wipe out our people. Very emotional. I stopped it for 4 years, and we are ready to make changes. There's only a handful of Chinese-built vehicles sold in America, like the Buick Envision from General Motors and the Lincoln Nautilus from Ford. Now, the only reason those Chinese vehicles are actually sold in America is because they are part of this situation where if you manufacture a vehicle in America and you send it to China, then that gives you a +1, right? And then what you can do is you can, with no import tariffs, import a vehicle from China back to America. So it's a 1-for-1 scenario. I think that's actually a pretty good rule. Volvo does this as well. No Chinese brands currently sell cars in America though, unless you count Lotus, Polestar, and Volvo, which are part of the Geely conglomerate in China. But because that was an acquisition, or the Volvo brand was an acquisition, and Geely bought that from Ford, technically it's not really seen as being Chinese, even though the overlords are Chinese. Now, the US recently raised the tariff on certain Chinese imports, including EVs, from 25 to 100%. It's actually technically 102.5%. Former President Trump wants to beat Joe Biden. He's willing to say pretty much anything he thinks people want to hear in order to win. That's my genuine opinion here, guys. I believe Trump just says what he thinks people want to hear. I think that he's using a lot of data coming from, what was it called, Cambridge Analytics or whatever they're called, that analytics company who they basically mine the internet and see what the present sentiment of many millions of Americans is, what they think it is, using all their analytics, which I don't know if they work that well. And then they tell Trump, oh, people want you to, people are thinking this, say that, everyone will love it. That's what I think, guys. And I've thought this for years, but I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about all this whole, guys, we have two Muppets, Biden and Trump, two ancient old guys. Why can't the Democrats and Republicans get a proper presidential nominee for each party? I don't understand it. But let me know if you do. If you're a genius and you understand what the hell's going on here, let me know. I think it's a shit show. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.